tuned in if they want to try and stop tomorrow.
All right, so which map are we gonna be playing on? Everybody's vibing here. Our game is ready. We're gonna go for Cafe Dostoevsky's Talon. Ban out theme park for the security of it. Hap, do you agree with this decision? Taking Electrify to Cafe.
Well, they lost 1-7 to Xavier on Cafe last Playday, so I think it's a good choice to Talon. Decided to not go for theme park, but choose to go for something where Electrify have proven to be weak.
Do you still see it as a victory here, Hap, for Talon?
Yeah, I do. I do still see Talon take it.
How far out?
You want me to give numbers?
Yes.
How far out?
That's
No, I
literally
think this one is going to be a bit closer.
Huh.
I think we're going to go for like a 7-4, 7, maybe 7-3-ish in scoreline here.
I mean, yeah, probably a 7-3. I would say Electrify have to step up. I think it's a smart move not going to theme. Theme is going to lean more into the defenders on the first time round, and I think that will make Talon struggle. If they're going to open their own attacks, Cafe, with the sharpness that they can offer, they could find some success.
All right, let's see which one of these two teams are the sharpest tools in the shed. Talon versus Electrify. We'll toss it over to our casters. Jessica, all yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Milush. It is time for another game, Jess. I'm excited to see how this one shakes down, because a few weeks ago, I probably would have looked at this fixture and said, hey, this is a real scrap at the bottom. But Talon and Electrify, to be fair to them, have both been showing notable improvements this stage. Just haven't always been able to grasp the results they need to really show that marked improvement. I'm hoping here that one of these teams, I'm thinking it's going to be Talon, should be able to step up head and shoulders above the rest and show they deserve to tango with everyone else here in APAC North.
Well, you said the benchmark in APAC North was Norengo, and on this exact map, they were able to bring it to an 8-7 victory. So if they can repeat that again here today and do it in a more overwhelming fashion against Electrify, which is pretty rightfully a lower tier echelon compared to Norengo, then we can see some positives here. And on the side of Electrify, well, every single round or time they've gone to Cafe has been a loss. And the most recent one, Hap brought it up. It was a 7-1 loss to Xavier. So I don't think this map is particularly in their specialty, but, you know, things change.
I mean, look at BDS, a great example across in Europe, who didn't play Villa for the longest time and then suddenly thought, hey, let's go and play it. Guess what? Still didn't do very well in it, but it's beside the point. It's about the lesson that sits there, is that teams can hide things and bring them out at the appropriate time. Anyway, we are into the thick of the operator bands. Maverick, Ying, and Wamai currently the three taken away, Jess.
It's a bit interesting. I mean, you look over the bans for Talon on most maps, and even just like Cafe as a map itself, they've gone from things like Thatcher to a Habana to a Mai and a Maestro, Capitao even one time as well. I think they also managed to ban a Valkyrie. I think they're just all over the shop with the kind of bans that they want to do, and it gives me a little bit of a vibe that they like to counter ban their opponents, which is fair enough. I actually prefer that method rather than going for comfort bans all the time. Maybe taking away that crotch operator. Is the Ying the crotch operator? Very possibly. We've spoken about that before, and I kind of get that vibe here.
Starting things off down in, well, I always say the basement on this map, but it's not the basement, it's the first floor. There is no basement, but it feels like the basement given there are indeed 3-4s to play across here on Cafe. Kitchen, where we're going to kick things off with the 6th pick away to the Bandit to try and play behind that denial. But with the Thatcher being open, of course, have to give some consideration to that. I'm keen to see where Labyrinth chooses to set up here with the air jabs as well. You can look to take control of the 3rd floor and the 2nd floor and use to lock off any rotations that might come onto the sledge. But really, outside of that, I don't see it being too much use around the site itself.
Just double checking, they will reinforce off bakery completely, so it won't be a bakery hold, really. Maybe a little bit of a prep hold with those feet holes there, but... oh, hang on. There's an ADS. That's a sneaky ADS. Oh, no, they're going to commit someone's
Bakery
life
hold.
to holding this. It's a bakery hold with no opportunity to rotate out. So a full commitment to a bakery hold in this way, shape, or form, and thank you for showing exactly where that rotate would usually be, is a very dangerous one, because it means you're committing to possibly losing someone in the early round without opportunity for them to come back onto site if it does end up being a freezer push or whatnot, and a VIP hold as well. This is really stretched out here, Des. Both a west hold and east hold, and no upper hold either, which is kind of good because there's only 3 breaching charges on Soldier, I believe.
You say no upper hold, then there's triple left up top, and I thought for a couple of seconds we would see them just committing towards stretching out towards the east and the west, but no. Clearly, Electrify is saying, we want the whole of Cafe. We really want our cake, and we really want to eat it. That's why they're hanging around inside of the bakery, where those cupcakes will be situated. It's all about how long they hold on for here is my big question. One holding inside of prep, one out towards bakery, triple lift upstairs, one in VIP. That leaves one player on site. Now, it could well be they start out with a more extended setup and then pull themselves back towards site as time goes by. But at least to begin with, they definitely want to slow Talon down here, and I'm not against slowing down attacking teams and wasting their time here on Villa.
Are there any defenders on site? Like, actually playing on dead site other than Ed, who's running around wildly between prep and everywhere else? So technically no one is on site. For the most part, this is super extended above, in the east, in the west. And now Talon, what they need to do is they need to get rid of Ray here. Opening up that wall throughout Small Bakery there is absolutely his death sentence here.
Ooh, maybe not. The grenade doesn't connect, but gets hit with bullets regardless. He was playing Snake in the bakery. Sadly, will not be able to slither his way out of that sticky situation. And that's Ray going down as the first kill. The Maestro removed those evil eyes, knocked out of action, but still, of course, useful when it comes to the information, hopefully that they were positioned correctly by Ray before he died. 5 versus 4 and Talon here are just ignoring what it feels like the most of the top floor attack that we see a good number of teams angle for when they start on Cafe. They've instead taken control of Bakery and are looking to try and go through this wall. Why wouldn't you? The direct option is available once that Thatcher is on side for you. And that not being banned away, it feels like we never really get to see him, but here you can see him coming into full effect. They're going to start getting this wall opened up, and now they have direct access into site from inside a Bakery. They have ignored the vertical hole. They have ignored the eastern hole, so much so that Sino is now going to say, you know what? I think I need to move. Maybe being here isn't the best shout, as clearly a lot of the focus is going on out towards Bakery.
No impacts in the Malusi's hands, and that air jab is very aptly placed on Small Bakery. No rotate for the flank across onto Bakery. And when you said Sino needed to rotate, he didn't need to throw his body in front of the attackers that way. He had smokes. This is detrimental. No way the defenders win this.
I mean, you say that, we've seen some miracles pulled off, but sadly no miracles to be found in round number 1. A flawless round coming out for Talon. A small nod to Electrify with a very aggressive hold or space around the entirety of Cafe, but Talon just show that sometimes the shortest and most direct route to the site is absolutely the best.
What troubles me is that you have Thatcher in play. Now, for the most part, both of these teams are used to playing with a Thatcher ban. Almost every time that Talon has played Cafe, a Thatcher has been banned. So now that they've got it in hand, it almost looks like their attacks have sped up exponentially because they have it. They had PMW on the sledge. He opened up the mining window and he kind of went, hang on, I don't really need to go in, because if there's wall denial, we just Thatcher it. And if I go in, I risk having to drone a hefty amount of the map. I don't know if someone's up here, of which they were. And he kind of just bailed on it and did his thing. I think when you've got such a powerful operator as Thatcher on a map like this, on a site like that specifically, and you're not used to having it, and now you have that freedom, things just start flying for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone complained for the longest time, oh, the game's so defender leaning, it's so difficult to do anything. And then when you see a Thatcher on side, you're reminded that with the release of Ace, actually, attackers can get stuff done pretty damn fast if you give them enough time. And for Talon there, even with, again, the really aggressive hold coming out from Electrify, inside a minute and a half, they were inside the site, ready to start playing for the plan and playing for the objective. All they needed to, as it was a flawless round, as we observed. Now let's see how things fare up on the top floor. The key change that's coming for them here is they picked away that sledge onto the Monty. A pick that I'm surprised we haven't seen more of when it has been available, to be completely honest with you. But I think here for PMW, it's a case of just looking to bully Electrify here with that impenetrable shield. Just charge your way forwards, make them feel uncomfortable, get up in their face, and capitalize on the pressure that Monty can create.
Come on, Pikachu, I choose you. I choose all that aggression that comes out of these window hops, and when you do them well. No IQ on the attacking side. I always criticize the APAC North region for almost never running her. Just seems to be an operator they're not interested in running, even when there's a Valkyrie. Even when Echo wasn't auto-banned, it was an operator we barely saw. I mean, Fnatic tries to run it a lot, but otherwise it's not really a key feature of a lot of the compositions. And now my big thought is this Monty to push aggressively into Pixel, or is it to push aggressively over towards New Hatch and over towards Freezer? My thought process is, if you want to be Speedy Gonzalez, you use the Monty to push all the way over to Pixel, force them out, and then you don't have to use so much utility on it.
I think the main plan here might be to remove the Evil Eyes, and with the 4 smoke grenades they have on side, just look to use those to completely drown out sight, give absolutely no visibility or indication to Electrify of what's coming, and then try and go for the execute. And given they're trying to blow through all the utility at the start of this round, that feels to me like it's going to be the play. That shield being removed suggests that maybe Bags is going to be the target location for a plant to come in. Let's not forget, though, that it is BD who has got access to the plant right now. PNW's here to be a bit of a man. What? How has he got behind them like this? You have a Nomad on side, guys, and he's managed to get up there and do absolute wonders. And now you've lost your trump card. That Monty is dead alongside the Thatcher. This round just got really tough because they couldn't cover red properly.
I don't want to criticize, and who is playing on the Nomad? It's Labyrinth. I don't want to criticize him there because the trouble with Cafe and Villa alike is that the air jab can be shot almost every time. If you're smart about it, you lay down, you get the right angle on it. There's no way to hide an air jab anymore. Everyone knows the tricks. Everyone knows the meta. That's why a lot of teams used to bring Gridlock instead. Oh, that was almost a dire situation for Ed. And so my thought process is Triple Lift flanks almost every single round on defense. He's just so used to dealing with stuff like that.
Naughty. When you are an experienced roamer, absolutely. But I guess that's a small oversight being shown by the side of Talon. We know that G2 are a team that historically have chosen to forego the Nomad and instead try and rely purely on gun skill and holding that angle. In the same way that BD now without a Monty is relying purely on himself to run in there, hold down F and hope for the best. He has been put down by the T-Force coming out from below, and it feels like this should be round going the way of Electrify, but it is still a 3 versus 3. Trying to push into the shield right now, still wins that fight against Ed. It's neutralized elsewhere. It's a 2 versus 2. Only 20 seconds left to play. Doesn't suggest there's a lot, but guess what? Roman number 2 has stepped up. Pikachu to get a double kill. Labyrinth onto the 3K, but Sino steps up at the very end, brings down Labyrinth, and will give Electrify the round. A lot of that inspired by that early aggressive play coming out of Triple Lift.
Dare I say that was a bit of a freebie for Triple Lift, because if you've got players who are relying on one air jab to be able to do their business over towards side, then you should absolutely abuse it. I always fault teams who don't have that or rely too much in one piece of utility, whether it be a Claymore, an air jab or beyond, or a drone, and hoping that one of your teammates are watching it. It's not enough if someone's not acting on the information, if they're not actively part of being that flank hold. And a lot of teams, even in EUR, we're seeing, who was it on the Ash that was doing the flank watch last time? I can't even remember. I think it was Packball possibly. No, the other day we casted someone, they had the Ash doing the flank watch actively. And I said to myself, that's a good flank watcher, because if someone does happen to come, he is actively there, prepared to be able to stop it. If you're not actively involved in that process, then you deserve to get flanked.
We commented on that for a few teams last season when the Nomad was banned away. It's almost like you're inviting the roamers in, and if you feel that you have good flank drones, you have good capability and deal with those aggressive plays at awkward times in the round, then absolutely why wouldn't you go for it? Nice drone coming out of Labyrinth, by the way, here, seeing everything inside of the site, and that information for them could prove to be absolutely massive if the execution comes from Bakery side once again.
Just having a little look at the setup here. Only real change that we're seeing, at least from the defenders, is that they've got a little bit more intel to work with here with the Evil Eyes. The shield has been moved all the way up in VIP to look at white doorway so that Sino is aware or not of whether they're pushing in. Last time it was quite deep into VIP as they just expected someone to move in. Now they're hoping that they can get a little bit more up in their face, and they've committed yet again to a bakery hold, of which I'm going to make the assumption Talon will pick apart again. I mean, history often repeats itself.
It is the exact same setup coming out of the defenders down to the last operator. The change that's coming through for the attackers, however, is going to be the Kali. So I'm imagining here on the sheer fact they brought that along, there might be a slight difference in tactic here. They have the Thatcher still. They also now, of course, have the Kali on side. They have a lot of tools to deal with electrification or destroy gadgets here, so this could shape up to be really powerful for them. But by the looks of it, they've already rotated themselves upstairs, are less concerned around the bakery take here with numbers, and more putting 1 or 2 members in there. And of course, Pikachu is at a window daring someone to come for the challenge.
This position from Pikachu upstairs is actually really important because last time the small bakery wall got opened up on the Maestro, and it meant the bakery hold was null and void very quickly. So if he can get this pick, unfortunately the angle there doesn't quite see over to the window, but for the most part it will assist. And look at that, wasted yet again. They just get freebie of bakery almost every time. Why devote so much power and utility and resources over there if you're not going to be able to hold it, is my question.
It has forced them to commit. Is that a couple of Salmons they committed in? How many Talons have we got less? It'd be nice to see, actually.
2? Where did he use the other?
Yeah, they put 2. I think one got shot up on the first side and didn't come out. The second one they had to get the whole walkway open. So now they've only got the one left on this wall. If this gets tricked out, this could be pretty terrifying for Talon, because then it all comes down to pushing in through prep or trying something out. Here we go. Ed, I thought, trying to go really aggressive there, but does pick away. Just to remind Talon, we are on the other side of this wall, and we are willing to challenge you if you get too close.
Here we go. Is the bandit trick coming in? Freebie! Yep. There you go. Can't that to trick that. And where did that air jab go again? Spoke about it last time. Triple Lift gets a freebie again. This wall will stay closed. Surely. They've got nothing else to open it up. No more hard breach. More flank potential coming out of Electrify. It feels like they're everywhere, and it feels like they're doing everything. Losing Bakery wasn't that bad when you've got the bandit trigger.
Still down in numbers, mind you. Now down 3 numbers with the smoke being dropped of all people towards it. Oh, that could have been huge if it had gone off, but didn't manage to pull the trigger in time. So that will be him down on the ground, but not out just yet. And in fact, I say that now it comes down to the 1 versus 2. Pikachu all by himself against the last 2 members of Talon. They have got sight. They have got time to play with here. It's just a case of holding the angle, and there we go. PNW collecting the late returning Roma. A bit of a scrappy round overall. That C4 could have been cataclysmic for Talon if it had got off, but sadly, it did not.
The way the PMW got that last kill, at least from the perspective of the defender, was it was looking like he knew where he was from. But watching that replay there, it just looked like PMW had no idea. Was he coming from Double Doors or was he coming from Bakery? And not having that knowledge could have been abysmal to him being able to hold off on the player getting that plant down. I think it's a little bit of a mixture of, we did really well on being able to get Bakery. We miscalculated our Selmas, of which you've only got 3 to play with now, so it's not something that you can really just willy-nilly throughout the map anymore. You have to be a little bit more conservative with it. And now they won't bring that Kali again. I actually think the Kali wasn't too useful. I wonder whether or not it was intended for another side, another top floor hold to assist with shields and the like. And this time with a reading room, surely they do a top floor hold again, of which Talon have to go, they're going to have to deal with Pixel again. Last time they had a shield. This time they've got a buck with flashes. That verticality will be great for them instead of having a sledge. But I think going up against Ed on the clash here, the big thing is they don't have a Zofia.
Wager maybe they're in a spot where it's more of a we can disable what we need to here. We don't need to destroy it. Disable time is enough that we can force our way through, and realistically looking at a mute jammer, looking at the Malusi Banshees, they're the main 2 things you want to be dealing with. I guess the only real help you get from, not the only bit, you get a lot of help from them, but the help that you would get from the Zofia impacts here would be against someone like the Clash. We saw yesterday, it was Tuesday, the last play day here in APAC. A really good method of dealing with a Clash who was standing in cocktail doorway looking across bar was get concussed out by the Zofia, and instantly on Skylight someone was there to spray. I'm curious to see if the same thing comes out, but without that Zofia on side, that might turn out to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, they've literally got nothing to deal with here. No Capitao, no Zofia, no frag grenades if that's something that you might want to try. The only thing is the air jab, and that's not really a viable tactic against the Clash when it has that small activation period. You'd rather want to use it against those flank players from Electrify, Triple Lift being one of them. This time he's on the mute, however, and Ray will be the one on the Jaeger. A little bit of a switch up. That's kind of nifty.
I mean, we've seen him so far. Triple Lift this is change between the Malusi, between the Jaeger, between the mutes. They are flexing these roles around a little bit based on the round, based on the site they're playing on, sorry. Reading Fireplace being the first time we've seen it here on this map. The last 3 rounds we've seen Kitchen twice and Bar once, of which Electrify only managed to come away the victor on Bar. So you might wager the Kitchen is a bit of a cursed site for them, hence why we're heading here rather than going to Kitchen for a 3rd time. This is my favourite site to watch at the minute on Cafe, I think, because it does demand a lot from both attackers and defenders. Defenders to know when to fall back, how aggressively they can hold upstairs before falling back to the 2nd floor, and for attackers to pace themselves and how much of the utility they commit to getting top floor when you've also got to worry about the site downstairs too.
2 C4s done and dusted. That is both the C4s that were available on a reading site. That is horrific that you've lost both of them to really bad C4s below piano. No impact whatsoever on the attackers, if at all, and the only thing that's been able to hit even slightly was the last remaining plant denial of the smoke. Now they're relying on guns.
I mean, fair enough if it comes down to it. That's the way it's got to go sometimes, and you still got a clash to play behind. Why not try and give yourself the advantage so that it becomes a thing you can make good use of? 55 seconds remain, and still only one player dead. They have finally got control of the top floor in its entirety and feel that now is the time to start looking on the downstairs. I think that was a call for a hatch to get blown out. Maybe not. More of a ping out towards white stairs, and they would be right to assume so because there is a player from Electrify holding close by who can give them a bit of a headache should the time call around. In fact, there's 2 or 3 members of Electrify all pushing up towards white here. Of course, when you've got that clash, the same as when the attackers have them onto you, you can afford to be a bit more aggressive. And it's more the information gathering they're doing for the team here. Here's where they are. Here's what they're up to. When are we going to try and go for the challenge? The answer apparently is now. Ed pushing quite aggressively here with Ray just behind him. But can they find someone out? Tomorrow pinned in the corner. This could get real messy real fast for him. Jess wins the gunfight against Ray, who swings out of sync with the clash, and it strikes back. But this is the plant going down from BD. Triple lift. The Roamers, they come crashing upstairs and crush the dreams of Talon. But Talon have the plant down. That is an advantage no matter which way you look at it. You got BD in close range, waiting for the swing. He's watching the wrong way. He's too busy looking upstairs. That's one collected out by Triple Lift, and Labyrinth playing out on the outside here is going to be wary of the jump outs, of the run outs. He gets 2. It's a 1 versus 1, but guess who he's against? It's a clash, and Ed wins that one out. Will be able to get the defuse through, and it may have been a close round, Jess, but it's still around for Electrify.
Oh, 9 times out of 10, when you're in a 1v1 and it's a clash v whoever post-plant, you don't expect them to be able to win, be able to put the shield on their back in time to pull out the SBSMG9 and then be able to frag against someone who quite rightfully had a very powerful weapon there. I believe it was the ARX in hand. So, wow, that was a really good read on the situation there. Throwing body after body probably wasn't the answer, but they did keep it up until they had to reload, which was the way to probably go about it if that's all the time you had left. And
Just throw ourselves at him. It'll make him reload. That's how we win a fight, right? Just lose 2 members to the reload.
Yeah, probably a little bit more coordination is the play, but overall, good round there for Electric. Good retake. And now the rounds are 2 apiece. And when you're on defense, we always speak about this on Cafe. I don't know, and I think if I go here towards Electrify, their attacking win rate is super low on Cafe. It's down at 26%. So really, really particularly low on their attacking win rate on this map. So they need as many defensive wins as they can get. Whereas Talon, they've got almost a 50-50 on both attack and defense. They've got a 48% attacking rate, which makes it a 52% defensive win rate. Which, when you're going on to, I guess, a clean split, let's say this ends at 3 apiece for both teams, or 4-2, whatever it might end on in the first half, that bodes better for Talon because they've already got 2 rounds on attack.
This is a throwback, Jess. I'm so happy to see this pairing coming out again. Tomorrow on the Ash and PMW playing on the Blackbeards. Something that we saw from them an awful lot when they played Cafe in the first stage of APAC North. And it was pretty terrifying to play against. You had PMW creeping up stairways, hanging down on windows, with Tomorrow just walking around the map, doing whatever he wished. They definitely kept the other side busy, and I'd be loving to see if he finds the opening kill. Soldier walks straight into it. Not quite prepared for that one, it seems. That's the Thatcher gone as well. A crucial operator to lose, given how much utility is on the field for the side of Electrify in this round.
Yeah, that was a really good spawn peek there. And it reminds me of Shaiko's spawn peek the other day as well on this exact map. He was able to do a heck of a lot of damage all throughout the map. And if you're triple lift, that's exactly what you want to do. I'm sad that it was the Thatcher, but I don't think it'll be too much of a detriment to them for this top floor take. I have to see a little bit more of their setup because I don't think, given that there's no wall denial, that there'll be any impact tricking of any kind. Maybe through that wall there, but for the most part, if it's already open, you don't really have to worry. So it's not a huge loss, but it would have helped them with Pixel a lot quicker.
Love how you say that wall there as if it's like a rank call out. Where is he? That wall there.
Freeze
Which wall
wall.
am I opening? That wall there.
Easy, it done the work and, you know, zoomed up on it. Is it easy today?
Yeah, true.
Or is it is easy today, exactly. Oh, hello?
Either way, look at that. Swing comes in for triple lift as an attempt, but sadly Labyrinth, he takes a couple of bullets and goes down, but absolutely not dead. They're trying to finish him out there by getting aggressive, but Tomorrow steps up, brings down Ray, and that balances things out into a 3 versus 3, with Labyrinth finally being picked back up. Almost gets taken down again as he takes another bullet. He is very fortunate to still be alive. The distance there, the damage drop off, no doubt saving his life.
What a shame that that's the decision that Ray tried to make there. I think sometimes when you get it down and you can't confirm, it's just better to not fall into the trap of being baited. And PMW, I'm so glad to see him back on this Blackbeard. He was such a terror on it in stage 1, and a lot of teams really disliked him taking it. I even think we did see a Blackbeard ban at one point, which really shook me a bit as a target ban against him. But with less than 60 seconds left now, Des, the big thing for the attackers is that they've got to bait out the rest of these smokes. Are there any C4s in the hands of Pikachu, for example, because they're not on Ed? He's got prox alarms, no shield. So all they've got left to go up against this one smoke babe and a heck of a lot of time. Now they're just going to win their gunfights as well.
They still don't have piano control because of this. This is becoming really common now. Well, one, they've still not dealt with the shield that's even on the pixel angle, but the fact that you can hold from inside a storage or inside of the bathroom like this and look through the soft wall that you've left open behind a shield means you present such a threat into piano. Sadly, Talon just hit better, I'm afraid. 3 kills come swinging in at the end of it as well. Real good push coming in off the back of those smoke grenades, and they collect kills seemingly for free. Another round going the way of Talon puts us at 3-2 to the attackers.
Every single attacking round that Talon gets makes me think that this is just going to be a huge pitfall for Electrify. That is a huge percentage to have as a defensive win rate. What did I say it was? Something like 78% or something, or 74% attacking win rate on this map. And to have such an abysmal or defensive win rate, rather, for Electrify, to have such a big defensive win rate, it shows me that you rely on your defensive half to get most of your rounds. And if you can only scrape together 2, let's say they get the next 1, 3, and I said it's a clean slate for them going into the attacking half, that doesn't bode well for them at all. Even if they win the next one, I'm not confident at all for them moving forward. And they're just going to try top floor again. Fair enough, why not? Let's work out what mistakes you made. And the shield that Ed's putting down there, the reason the attackers are so fervently trying to get rid of it is that is Talon's second default plant spot. For the most time, I know they've been trying to go out through New Hatch and do it and smoke off areas, but that's one where they want to pop the go shield during a plant, and they've just been getting rid of it. So it's taken away an extra layer of Electrify's plant denial.
Alrighty. See how it shapes upon the final defense for Electrify, if they can take anything from this or if it will end up a 4-2 half for the attackers. Definitely a good outcome for Talon if that were the case. I said back at the very start of the map as we came into the map flyover, was saying, look, both of these two teams have leveled up and it is worth giving them the respect they deserve for that. Compared to stage 1, both teams have gotten much better. But Talon, I think, is on a stronger upward trajectory, not least in part because Soldier, having now joined the team, I think his first couple of play days, they were mega rough. We saw 0.5 ratings. I thought, oh no, not another bad season for these guys. But I spoke to their coach, Sunby, and he said, you know, look, he's a young 18-year-old player. He's very, very gifted and he's coachable. We value that attitude more than someone's capability, but he is also a very good player. Just give him a bit of time. And I feel as days have gone by, he has definitely stepped into that role more. Not that he's absolutely flying here today, but it's good to see that the roster is improving over time, that they are making the changes required. And hey, you never know what that can lead to moving forward. Let's not forget, they're currently sat in 8th place. They avoid relegation if they can get a couple of wins this season. This could be one of them.
They know Triple Lift is here, and I mean, to be frank, where else would Triple Lift be other than on red stairs ready to flank? Oh, he's such a menace in that spot. They can't rely on that air jab again, because guess what? I don't care if Triple Lift rotates all the way back up to site from wide stairs. I guarantee at some point in this round, he'll float back to red stairs, try and make himself known from there. And that's going to force Labyrinth to focus a heck of a lot on red stairs. You see him focusing on there at the moment a lot. And that, okay, I love that. We've got to talk about what just happened there, Des. And the reason we do is that I praise teams who put a shallow ash charge before the shield when the shield's a little bit further out, because that explosion radius will blow it up. What Electrify have done is move the shield further back, and guess what? You can't soft breach in front of it. You can't use the explosion radius. You've got to cook the ADSs. Smart and well done from Electrify.
Definitely holding Talon up a little bit, but we've already seen how that happened in the last round when it came around to execution time. They just walked forward and didn't execute onto the side. They executed Electrify, or electrocuted, take your pick on which word you want to use there. But 3 kills came through in seemingly no time at all, and the round closed out from there. So get a bit more time. We'll see if this is the the BDS of this matchup, should we say, for Talon, the ability to just walk in and find the kills they need to close the round out, or if time is going to be a critical factor for them. You've got PNW holding nice and close, and he will find the kill onto Ray. That's the Maestro removed at quite a range as well.
They're getting to the point where they're getting a little bit desperate here. I'm not entirely sure that's the weapon you want to take against Ed. I actually thought he had the Vector with a higher fire rate, but instead he's got the TCSG. Same amount of damage, if you ask me, at short range. And for the most part now for Talon, this is just going to have to be a frag fest. They haven't dispatched of that key position, and now they do.
They lost that at such a long range, but still, Pikachu's behind the shield. They haven't even removed the most basic of shields in this round. They just left them entirely. They think they have the angle set up, but they absolutely do not. It all comes down to Labyrinth to go absolutely huge here. He tries to take one gunfight, but loses to Triple Lift, who's playing across the bar. That was the weirdest round of Siege I think I've ever seen, when every single shield still looks left up. There's been no utility removal done by the attackers, and you can see why teams have to put so much time into dealing with that, because look at what happened. Electrify sat behind shields, they waited, there was very little pressure until the actual execute came through, and even when we saw the members of Talon trying to challenge, guess what? There were shields everywhere, there were reinforcements everywhere, gadgets helped them out. Really well played by Electrify, and a little bit questionable by Talon not to deal with those sooner.
I mean, we had seen them deal with them rounds before, so it's not out of their, vocabulary to say, oh yeah, we can absolutely throw those pieces of utility at it. I will say that Electrify really read into the blast radius of the Ash charge and moved the shield further back. I'm glad that teams are reading into this and being sure of where they place their go-go shields. But for now, Talon get to prove that their defense is just as formidable as their attack, which has been 50-50 for the most part. And for Electrify now, this is a bad turn of events if they don't come swinging in the first couple of rounds. Once those numbers start to dwindle, the mentality sets in, people start to make mistakes, they start to try to make hero plays as well. And that's not something you want from a team that desperately needs to win this matchup.
Okay, the side switch comes through. The switcheroo, the Iana stepping in for Ed. Something we touched on in our previous matchup earlier on today, Jess, talking around the Iana, how some teams have really popularized it, some don't even give it a thought. They completely ignore it, they stick to playing Siege the way they did before she was a thing. At least for some teams, we're seeing some creativity coming out of it. Of course, the fact that it gives you the extra information, in some cases gives you 4 frag grenades. It's exactly what's coming in here with the Sledge and the Iana. You get 4 of those to use in tandem. And whether you're attacking below or above, I think that's where the real effectiveness comes in. And probably actually now that I've said it out loud and realized probably how stupid I may have sounded historically, with a Sledge, despite him not having a shotgun like Butt to be able to do vertical destruction, you can still use those grenades from below. So it's not the end of the world, but it's the end of triple this world. PMW is giving him a taste of his own medicine, getting it in a window and saying, you want him to be able to play this round? Nah, sit down.
That was a really good read into the rappel there. And oftentimes you really need to make sure you have a drone in bakery or even small bakery to make sure no one's going to jump out of that window. A lot of players will have preset drones around mining to ascertain that same fact. And now for Electrify, those yellow pings will come out to say, shields there, boys. Where's the ADSs? Is there anything we need to deal with here? Not particularly. Only one of those evil eyes will persist in... yes, it is. They're 2 over behind couch. And there we go. Good ping comes out. A Ruth EMP will disable 1. That had to have been a millimeter of radius there between them. That is such a shame. They lost so much utility by it just being displaced by 1 centimeter. It had to have been.
Well, look at the difference there in the handling of it. Electrify straight in, bam, pixel is removed. Talon last round, couldn't shift even an ADS. Very big difference coming in, which kind of surprises me. I thought Talon, given this is one of the maps we've seen them on a couple of times historically, would be one which they feel very, very comfortable in dealing with those kinds of setups. But maybe with the line that they brought along, they just weren't really ready for it. No excuse though, because Electrify down a man still managed to achieve that and clear out a very significant area. So much so that it has now forced a couple of members of Talon to right towards the east side of the building and given a little bit more breathing room to the members of Electrify.
I think they got rid of both shields. I think that entire area now is completely utility-less, for lack of better words. Yep, that's freebie, bathroom freebie, pixel freebie. Is there still a shield for BD? There is, okay, but that's the only one. That's a lot more work than we've ever seen sort of Talon be able to achieve in that time either. And what was that Hail Mary down white corridor, Pikachu? Hello?
Oh, It's a bit of an aggressive one, and Tomorrow was more than ready for it. And here they come trying to strike back now, even going super aggressive, given there's no more setup around here. He is just going for it, gung-ho. A double kill, down goes Ed. That's no more intel provided by that Ayana, but she brings out that clone, of course. And with 2 left alive, it's just Sino and Ray entirely by themselves. Those poor, lonely sods hanging out towards Cigar, sorry. This is all of Cafe. They're still in a spot where they're getting pinged out to the high heavens. Will be one coming in from Ray. Make it a second. Can he find the third? Has to go to the pistol. Goes for the pixel angle, but can't find nothing. Down to about 5 HP, and the time was nearly out. Talon went super aggressive there, bursting up wide, bursting up to New Hatch. They just wanted to lay the pressure on thick against Electrify, not even give them a sniff at the site.
It's an interesting read into a late round adaptation that Talon applied there. Was once they had gotten that pick over towards Piano, I think there came a call to say, just push them. And they lost a couple of players in Freezer who did try and just do that and just push and apply that pressure from every angle. So it was a good couple of double kills there coming out from Electrify in quick succession. But for Talon, they'd committed to the fact that now they had a bit more of Piano control. They could move around to New Hatch. They could really just essentially try and box them in and just slay them from all sides. I don't think it was necessary with the time that they had left, but maybe they thought that that was the option. That was the best option with the kind of control that the Jaeger was able to retake. And well, we get to move downstairs now, not to basement, just to kitchen. There might be a basement here.
Jess, you're right.
There might be one. We just can't see it.
There'll be some weird jokes coming out about basements and not being found, but we'll leave that one for another rainy day, I'm sure. Anyway, you are correct. We are on the ground floor here. Looks like it's going to be a similar setup coming out of the side of Talon with 3 of their members all committing utility and reinforcements in towards Bakery. With that one wall being left soft, I imagine it's going to get opened up, and that's exactly what BD sets to work doing with the shotgun. So there is that ability to rotate back here, which suggests to me that they will hold it for a while, but as soon as it starts getting a little bit dangerous inside here, you rotate yourself straight back out. What are you shocked at, Jess? Come on then.
I know what BD's doing. I think it creates a pixel angle. Yep. That's so dirty. I mean, I wish he had to put it a little bit further back because it actually would have created an actual pixel angle.
Yeah, and also look at what it's done with the Goyo shield that's down to the south as well. That lets you rotate safely back into the site without being shot from the angle that comes from the doorway straight through to that rotate. This is smart. My only concern is that those 2 ADSs are quite far back. That Goyo shield will be removed very quickly, and there's your retreat path just completely cut off.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love it. I just think it's great. I mean, they've got the Mute Jammer on the small bakery wall, that shield there to give them a really nice pixel peek. To be peeked back is exponentially harder now, and I think that's a really cool setup. In fact, I would say it's one of my favorite setups of bakery that I've seen in a long time now, and it's just off the fact that there's 2 shields there with really good placement.
Okay, well, let's see if they can break it apart or if it proves to be a massive problem for the side of Electrify on their attack. They are still down around here, so there's going to be a little bit of pressure starting to creep in, knowing that this really hasn't been the season for them at all. For Talon, mind you, again, sat in 8th place, this win means an awful lot to them to continue climbing up and potentially even try and propel themselves towards the major, now that we think about that potentially being a thing too. Start of it, no real focus going in towards Bakery. I imagine vertical control is going to be a big part of this, Jess, because, well, why face it head on when you can go above and cause a bit more trouble inside the site itself?
I really feel like Kitchen as a site warrants vertical takes 9 times out of 10. I think even just
like the angles, right?
Yeah, just a little bit of pressure. Even if you just open up the angle that Ed's opened up there, repel upside down and mining window, even just that I would accept. But some kind of pressure from above rather than giving it free for the defenders. And even if the defenders don't use it, they know it's a one-dimensional push. So I love a multi-dimensional strategy from the attackers. I think that's the best one to do on Kitchen because look, they're running around like scared rats now below. It's a maze for them to have to dodge everything above them. And especially Coffee. That's the hardest place to try and get rid of. And that's what Triple Lift's doing here by laying down. He wants to get rid of that angle and... Oh!
Dolphin dive. I've never seen that before, but that was absolutely hilarious. I mean, okay, it's a kill. It's a kill regardless. It's 2 more coming back the other way.
I'm so sorry. I have to collect myself.
That's getting clipped. That is getting clipped into one of my favourite little moments ever. Anyway, Jess, there's still a round playing out right now. Smokes are coming out inside of Freezer. In fact, quite a few are coming out. They're trying to deny everything. But guess what? There is an anchor in the name of BD, and he says no one may pass. No one may leave Freezer. You can stay in the cold, and I don't mean outside. I mean in the place indoors where it's nice and chilly. PNW even found himself upstairs to collect a couple more kills as Ed tried to make something else happen on the upstairs. Good defense coming out, and even with them retaking this upstairs angles just means that there was a bit too much focus on the attackers to commit everything into the execute. Good round from Talon to bring that one back.
You have two options. I'm still giggling. You have two options when you're
Yeah.
You know what? I actually did want to make a note that it kind of looked like post-death, his body didn't want to touch the claymore, so it just kind of did a leapfrog over it. Look, silly enough as that is. If you're the
body was playing the
defenders,
floor is lava.
oh my god, stop! The floor is claymores. In that case,
The floor is claymores. Same thing, certain death is guaranteed.
Exactly. Look, if you're on kitchen and you're playing, even in ranked, if you play kitchen, you're having the players above, the attackers above, open up above you. You don't have a lot of options as to where you can go, and it really does require someone to either retake it or apply pressure so that they can't watch those vertical holes, because it's such a power position to be above in those verticals, and there's so much of kitchen and of course, you know, service that you can see from above that if you don't challenge it and they've got it for long enough, you're almost certain death. You're almost guaranteed certain death, I should say.
Okay. Dolphin Divers in the past. We're into round number 9. That can stay in round number 8. Reading and Fireplace, the site we head to. We spoke around this earlier on, how it normally constitutes an upstairs hold at the same time. Admittedly, not as strong as what you would see if you were defending the top floor, because some reinforcements need to go on the downstairs. Normally means that storage is less soft. You reinforce both the walls to come through storage, out the other side, and looking in towards Cocktail, as that forces the attackers to have to either push up white or come directly through bar to challenge the defenders who are normally holding in there. And when they feel threatened, what do? You go and drop through the hatch inside a Cocktail, you're back towards site, no problems at all. So I like how we're going to see another extended hold coming out of Talon. Got to try and burn through some of that time. They aren't, well, playing on site to begin with. They've got 3 of them all holding inside a piano, looking to cause some early aggressive damage, I think.
I mean, look at the kill distribution there from a couple of those fraggers. 9 kills for Tomorrow, 11 for PMW. I mean, they've been absolutely popping off this game. Even Labyrinth has had a pretty good game himself. A bit of a shame for Soldier, but he's on the support role right now. So, I mean, he wouldn't be expected to be a big impact fragger or player here for his team. And even so, I think he's even playing an aggressive angle above. So for the most part, Talon have identified that really sticking it to the side of Electrify with this controlled aggression might be the play. And I don't think they're necessarily overcommitting to this aggression. I think they're finding those pockets of safety for them to be able to do it.
In comes the Evil Eye being removed. I think it was destroyed in the end. Yes, it was. That's gone out of Piano, which means they can look to get in here pretty soon. Don't forget, we are already 75 seconds in, mind you. We're only just starting to see them getting control of Piano because of that early aggression being shown by Talon. Means you've got to pause, get back on the drones, take more time to make sure things are safe, remove the utility. Maybe even here looking to say, forget about that. Let's just get straight into the second floor. And Tomorrow is doing his best triple lift impression right here. Both begin with T. Isn't just a pure coincidence. Is looking to come up behind them and cause some damage. They don't. So they do have the Nomads on side. They should know about this. But again, it's another thing to think about. Another position you need to drone. Another angle that... Okay, I guess. Okay. You knew he was pushing Red Pikachu. Hello?
It was an unfortunate timing moment there. They ring a rosied around the middle of mining, and that big statue in the middle there, thank you very much, blocked the vision of the Ash as he crouch walked in. There was no way the Ash could have known he was already in there. That's a shame on the timing there. And I think he would have thought he was a ghost popping out of nowhere. I know it's spooky month, but that's what you get.
Oh, 2 kills swing back, and that at least gives something for Electrify to try and drag back in this round. And it does mean the defenders are on the back foot. However, you've got a good couple of site players left here in the Mute with the shotgun and also playing behind the Maestro, those Evil Eyes as well as the Elder. You're probably regretting a little bit losing the smoke, but time is now going to become the 4th man for your team. What a swing coming out of both Ed and Tomorrow, but it's Ed who comes out on top in this one. Brings things back to being a bit more neutralized between the two. Soldier and Labyrinth now stuck in a 2 versus 4 with 20 seconds to go. Can they deny this one? Apparently they can deny at least one of them. What an angle upstairs by Soldier. The Elder goes through it, mashes through most of the other team. We're into a 2 versus 2. Plant is going down, but can he see the angle? Apparently not. Must know. Yes, he can. And brings him down. It's into a 1 versus 1. All they've got to do is wait. Don't challenge Soldier. You don't need to do anything else. Now you can, because he's going for it. Needs to drop in, find where this Plant is coming out and spray him down, but needs to find where he is. To the left, goes for the challenge, down he goes, hits the floor. A triple kill for Soldier comes out, and Talon will move up to match points.
Oh, I just wanted him to run faster. I know he's a maestro. I know that he can only run so fast, but my heart was absolutely racing there, because if you're the attacker and you're on the last second of the plant, in your mind, the first thing you're saying to yourself, and something that you teach players, is that if you're in that 1v1 and you're able to get the plant down, the first thing you do is shoot. If they're running at you, you shoot in the direction of the sound and you hope that your pre-fire connects. In that instance, I actually think that the ace, and I'm not sure who it was, did not shoot. And that might have actually won them the round, because there would have been enough ammunition in his mag to be able to deal with that situation there. So, well done from Soldier. Good retake. Match point for Talon as expected. And I think Hap said he envisioned a 7-4 or 7-3. So this is very much looking like that at the moment.
It's lining up, I think, how expectations went. That Talon again have been the team on the slightly greater trajectory than Electrify. Took a bit of time with Soldier coming in for them to adapt. On the side of Electrify, I think the players overall have stepped up. What we see them doing is a lot better, especially from the likes of Triple Lift and Pikachu. I think I very crudely the other day referred to them as the Body Snatchers, a team that will appear in the middle of a round and just nick a kill or two here or there, and suddenly the other team is in absolute tatters because of what they've just done. I think here against Talon, though, you're finding all 5 members are able to step up and deliver when it's absolutely required. Labyrinth, Tomorrow, and PMW in this game especially, all on 10 or more kills. Great delivery for a 9-round game so far.
Where are these shields from Soldier going to go? That's my question. I want to see if they're going to do that pixel hold, if they're going to do that bathroom hold, as they've got a half reinforcement on it at the moment. Yep, there goes one. The second should go pixel. I'm glad we're seeing the use of prox alarms as well. I think they're quite an underrated gadget. They've been added to the gadget pool only recently, of course, and as a result, a lot of teams are not sure of its full capacity, how to best use it or implement it into their strategies. For the most part, you know, things like impact, C4s and everything are too important to take away and bring in a prox alarm in its place. But it's also got a good opportunity to snatch people out when they're maybe a pre-placed C4 is there or something to that effect, or even just give away a position that you don't want to actively watch. I still think it has its usage in some strategies.
Has there been a single round where at least one member of Talon hasn't been inside piano, regardless of what site it's on? There has always been someone up here looking to be aggressive, to slow down the attackers and waste Electrify's time. And it has worked in a couple of rounds. Last round we saw it was about 90 seconds until they really got clear of piano. The prior round, it was the same even on a bar and cocktail attack. It's been difficult.
Oh, this punch hole is perfect. In sail the grenades, in go the concussions. He's wasting so much utility. Even if he dies here, he's done a brilliant job. And what camera is that? Because there's no Valkyrie. Is that the default? Are you okay?
Oh, always gets away with it too. I thought he might be home free, but no, in the final stretch, Triple Lift comes onto the window and brings down Soldier. That is a lot of time wasted, you are correct. They even found Pikachu elsewhere, so it's not the end of the world. However, they are down 2 members. Not the most ideal situation. And another one coming out to a grenade. Maybe this is where Talon have bit off a little bit more than they can chew. But look at who's left alive. Tomorrow and Labyrinth. 2 of those players that I alluded to that have at least 10 kills in this game. They've been fragging out well, but can they do enough here in 75 seconds to hold Electrify back?
It's a big ask of them, but they've got so many red pings. Before it was a default cam, I'm 99% sure. Good shot. Good night. He's just better. And imagine evening the number count after being 2-man down in about 15 seconds. That's the kind of man Tomorrow is. And with all of these not even yellow pings, red pings, spamming the last players now, Des, this does not look good for Electrify in a round that rightfully looked to be theirs.
And the Evil Eyes are still up as well. They haven't been able to deal with those because Pikachu was the first to die. Ray, okay, yes, he died a little bit later on, but that intel, sorry, the utility clearly went elsewhere. They've got to push into this in a 2 versus 2. You're against the outer smokes come out, but you've still got the Evil Eyes down and around, feeding some information back and forth. Tomorrow just wins those, a triple kill in this round. How on earth have they clutched this all the way back? Electrify, having thrown almost everything away. They've got 15 seconds to go. They've got no one left. It doesn't matter how many seconds you give them. Labyrinth and Tomorrow are just better, and today Talon as a team were far better. Wonderful gun skill, excellent aggression, sometimes a little bit too much, but enough to deliver the win. Well done, boys.
Imagine having a team full of players that can aggress early round and then other players who hold on, build up, charge up that energy. I'm not making a Pikachu pun here. I'm not intending, of course, but just sort of charge that energy up late in the round and then just explode with that awesome controlled aggression from Talon there on their defense. That's what we want to see from this team. They've been on the upward and, well, now this might look like they're even more... I mean... What did Hap say they were on at the moment? Are they 7th, 6th? I'm not sure what the overall standings are, but I'd be keen to hear where they're sitting now.
I think before this.
Okay.
I didn't see what the previous result did to the standings, but they were currently in overall 8th, I think. This won't, I don't think, move them anywhere particularly notable because there's still 2 more days to go. We need to see how others play as well, but it puts them in very, very good stead with the very commanding victory as well, which I think is worth noting, and no doubt teams in future will be keeping a very close eye on. Let's go over to the analyst desk and get their thoughts on what has been an excellent game between these two teams.
Score lines expected and predicted in some way. Hap